अस प्रभु दीन बंधु हरि, कारण रहित दयाल। तुलसीदास सतते ही भजो, चारिक बत जंजाल। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। चले राम लक्ष्मण मुनि संगा, गए जहाँ जग पावनी गंगा। गाहि सूनु सब कथा सुनाई, जेहि प्रकार सुर सरि महि आए। तब प्रभु ऋषिन समेत नहाए, विविध दान महि देवहि पाए। हर्षि चले मुनि वृंद सहाया, बेगी विदेह नगर नियराया। पुरम यत राम जब देखी, हर्षे अनुज समेत विशेषी। बापी धूप सरित सरनाना, सलिल सुधा सम मनि सोपाना। गुंजत मंजुमत रस भृंगा, पूजत कल बहु बरन विहंगा। बरन बरन बिकसे वन जाता, त्रिविध समीर सदा सुखदाता। राम 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 हरे, कृष्ण 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 हरे। सुमन वाटिका बाग बना, विपुल विहंग निवास। फूलत फलत सुपल्लवत, सोहत पुर चहुपास। राम 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 हरे, कृष्ण 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 हरे। बनईन बरनत नगर निकाई, जहाँ जाई मन तहई लोभाई। चारु बजारु विचित्र अवारी, मणिमय विधि जनु स्वकर सवारी। धनिक बनिक बर धन रसमाना, बैठे सकल वस्तु लई नाना। चौहट सुंदर गली सुहाई, संतत रहहि सुगंध सिंचाई। मंगलमय मंदिर सब केरे, चित्रित जनुरति नाथ चितेरे। पुर नर नारी सुभग सुचि संता, धर्मशील ज्ञानी गुणवंता। अति अनूप जह जनक निवासु, विध कहि विबुध विलोकि विलासु। होत चकित चित कोट विलोकि, सकल भुवन शोभा जनु रोकी। राम 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 हरे, कृष्ण 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 हरे। धवल धाम मणि कुरट पट, सुघन कनाना भांति। सिय निवास सुंदर सदन, सौभाग्य कहि जाति। राम 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 हरे, कृष्ण 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 हरे। सुभग द्वार सब कुल सकपाटा, भूप भीर नट मागध बाटा। मणि विशाल बाजी गजसाला, हय गय रथ संकुल सब काला। सुर सजीव सने पवहु तेरे, निभ गृह सरिस सदन सब तेरे। पूरा Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Muni tava charan dekhi kaharao, kahi na sakau nij punya prabhav. Sundar syam gaur do bhrata, anand hu ke anand data.
बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। बोलिए श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय।
रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा रामचंद्र रघुवीरा
मंगल भवन मंगलहारी श्री राम जय राम जय जय मंगल भवन मंगलहारी
श्री राम जय जय राम
प्रभु दशरथ अजर बिहारी
श्री राम जय जय राम
मंगल भवन मंगलहारी मंगल भवन मंगलहारी श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय
राम
श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम Nursery salutations to Lord Ganesh, to Mother Saraswati, to Guru, to Bhagwan Ram. Gajananam Bhutganadisevitam Kapitjambu Phalsar Bhakshanam उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम् या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्र वस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदन्दमण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवै सदा वन्दिता सा मा पातु सरस्वती भगवती सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेष जाज्ञापहार गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः लोकाभिराम रणरङ्गधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरं तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजां वा नरयूथमुख्यं शरणं प्रपद्ये श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
राजा राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
राजा राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
मंगल भवन मंगलहारी द्रवहु सुदशरथ अजिर बिहारी
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
राम कथा के ते अधिकारी जिनके सत्संग अति अति प्यारी
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम
अवध तहै जहाँ राम निवासु दिवस तहै जहाँ भानु प्रकाशु श्री राम
जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम
रघुकुल रीति सदा चली आई प्राण जाई वरु वचन न जाई
श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम
बिनु सत्संग विवेक न होई राम कृपा बिनु सुलभ न सोई श्री राम
जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम
गुरु बिनु भव निधि तरई न कोई जो बिरंची संग कर सम होई
श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
हरे राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
हे राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम
सियावर रामचंद्र की जय. Before we get into today's katha, let me just go back a little bit into Pratap Bhanu story. A lot of people have been asking, and today Dr. Haywood also wrote some questions. I think the most important question among them is the shrap the curse which Pratap Bhanu got does not seem to match his transgression. I mean, if you add up all of that, they don't seem to match, that he did not do anything really. And then not only that, his whole family also got sharp with him. Everybody became Rakshasa. So those two important things. First thing, with regard to cause and effect. Let me tell you a very serious point in Vedanta. Cause and effect, all of us can only tell at a very ordinary level where there is perception. And science has delved a little bit more into it, and they try to connect cause and effect more clearly. For example, the effect of rain, but what is the cause? Or the effect of a hurricane, what is the cause of the hurricane? So science has gone into all of them, right? But because in the old days, people used to think the shaking of trees caused rain. So the cause of the rain was the shaking of the tree. Look, the tree is shaking. And when trees start shaking, as though trees are independent jivas that cause things, right? They're independent jivas, but they don't cause anything like rain. But people used to believe that. So that cause was connected to the effect of rain, the result. But we know that that connection is not there. So cause and effect they are connected by human beings at a very ordinary level. That is all we can do. Human beings are only capable of making connections between cause and effect at a very ordinary level. Beyond the ordinary level, we cannot make any cause to any effect. It is a very, very difficult thing. Even at the ordinary level that we connect a cause to an effect. Please see this, Even when we do that with two things in mind. One is, this might be the approximate cause for this. It may or may not be. Second thing is, we do it forgetting all the other countless contributory causes. So this is another fact about cause and effect. One cause is never responsible for an effect. That is why the human being can only make a kind of approximate cause for or identify a kind of approximate cause for an effect. I will just give you an example. Suppose I work hard and I become rich. So we connect the working hard to becoming rich. That is most superficial connection. Most superficial. What? How you became rich? I worked hard. That getting rich is also connected to Purva Janma Karma. So that is a contributory cause. Second thing, so many people worked. I hired people and they worked, and in paying them a salary, when we hire somebody and they work for me and I pay them a salary, I'm paying them for their labor, but I'm not paying them the full price for their labor. This is how capitalism works. Capitalism works like this. I have the money to invest. I buy the machinery. The other fella did not have the machinery. So he comes and he runs the machinery. So his labor is worth $100, but I pay him 50 only because I invested in the machinery. This is how capitalism works. His labor is worth 100, but when he works for me, I keep taking part of it. Now, I became rich. But what is that fellow's contribution in me becoming rich? He is also part of the cause. So one cause is never connected to one effect. Never. For ordinary discourse and for ordinary life and for ordinary things, we say this cause is connected to this effect. This man shot this man, therefore we hang him. He was the cause of death for this man. And that is why there will always be an argument against capital punishment. Because the people who argue against capital punishment, they will always say, this man shot him, but he really, this man who shot, he was not brought up properly, he was not trained properly, he was not educated properly. People neglected to teach him right values. The community in which he grew up, the parents in the house in which he grew up, they all contributed to this. Why didn't you hang them also? That is why that argument is always there. You see? And so many people across the world oppose capital punishment because of this reason. Is it hinging on this philosophical fact? What is that? One cause is not connected to one effect, which is a truism actually. So now, given this thing about cause and effect, when we try to point out what caused Pratap Bhanu to get this sharp, so then we will say, we can only say the things which we see, right? What previous life and all that is not given in the story, and how many things are there, not given. So all those are contributory causes. But now, from our standpoint, when we try to point out, from an ordinary standpoint, when we point out cause to effect, this man is the cause for this man's death. That is ordinary pointing out. We say, a king has more responsibility than a garbage collector. That true or not? Because if a king here defaults in his duty, the consequences are much bigger. If the garbage collector doesn't come to work today, 3 fellas walking through the village here, 2 fellas walking through the village, and 1 man digging a hole, and the second man after him filling back the hole. Right? 1 man digging a hole on the side of the road, and the other man filling back the hole. And then they move 100 feet, and the first man digging a hole again, and the second man filling back the hole. And they're going up the village. So somebody asks, what happened to you guys? Something wrong? You crazy or what? One digging a hole and the next one filling it back. So the first fellow said, no. You see, we're just doing our duty. The boss hired 3 of us. 1 man to dig the hole, 1 man to put the plant, and 1 man to cover it back. That man absent in the middle. The middleman absent. Today. But if you go down the road, you will see some plants there. That was yesterday. But we do it with duty. So if a fellow like that defaults in his duty, then what? You just don't get plants from the 2nd kilometer to the 3rd kilometer on that day. That is all the consequences. If he defects, he doesn't fulfill his duty. But when a king doesn't fulfill his duty, Hare Rama. It means to say then, this man who is planting this, who is supposed to put the plant, he only has to think about putting the plant. But a king has to think about the welfare of a whole nation. And so, how much of vichar and how much of close observation and how much of great sense of duty is on the head of a king. And here now this king, who was supposed to do that vichar, and that the Brahmanas told the word, and I told the word then, he did not do that vichar. Kachuna kahi vichar. He did not do that. He was supposed to think. He has greater duty to think. Second thing, when we look at this story very well, and it means to say now the consequences of not doing the duty here is going to fall on a whole lot of other people. And the king now has to bear the burden of those consequences because that is going to cause harm to so many. So he did not think properly, and nothing seemed, out of the ordinary for him, which it should have. There were signs. So that is first thing. Now, that is a general principle in Sanatana Dharma. Each person has a great duty to think in his respective field, in wherever he is, and any failure to think in that field in which you are charged with, that is going to lead to consequences for you. Not thinking. Dasharath is a king, and he's supposed to think very, very well before releasing that arrow, but did not. Rash decision on the spot, fast. And shot the boy. So, the consequences are there. The second thing, which is very interesting in the whole story, and which is, of course, one of the contributory causes now for the effect of which I see, first of all was thinking. Second, the king, though on the surface had all the gunas of a bhakta, deep down inside, the king had all the gunas of a kami. Kami means, when he asks for the boon, in the boon you can see. So on the surface a person may be bhakta, but deep down, mahakami. Kami means one who is only caught up with worldly things. And there are two problems with that. First of all, he's a king, and to be mahakami should be a spiritual person. First thing. Second thing is, being mahakami, see, when we take that responsible position, then I become an example to all the people in the world. So if I am mahakami, then actually this is exactly when he took both a Ravana, who was not Rakshas, they became Rakshas. Mahakami. And Kamat Krodho Vijayata Krodha, and then Prashati. In Gita, it is explained he was Kami and he was Mahakami. And we saw those lines and those words where he asked for things which made him Kami. Means in ordinary language extremely worldly, though on the outside he appeared as a great devotee, extremely worldly. And that is not the example for a king to set to others and all. So many things like that. So the sharp also which is given is very much in line with, and last thing we say in all of these, and today it will come here in this katha, really. And I've mentioned in various ways this thing. When something bad happens to us in life, from just an ordinary standpoint, it is called as bad. That thing always ends up lifting us to greater heights. Anything bad, that is a fact. And see, this fellow, who was this Pratap Bhanu, who is there no mention of his great bhakti or his devotion or like to Bhagwan and all that kind of thing. That mention is not there. What mention is, he's asking for this boon, worldly boon. And even that Pratap Bhanu, in the next life, got in one lifetime. We take Koti Janma. In one lifetime, he got Bhagwan Ram to kill him, and he got moksha. In one lifetime. Today, this will come up again. Now, one more thing, somebody wrote again from somewhere about Sati and I saw two questions today related to that and the order of events and all of those things. So, you please understand what is happening in Ramayana. In this beginning portion, which we have seen until now, Yajna is telling to Bharadwaj, or Lord Shiva is telling to Parvati ji, so many different reasons in so many different kalpas why Bhagwan took avatar. So that doesn't mean to say, that means to say that one story is not connected to the next story. In this kalpa he took avatar because of this reason. In that kalpa he took avatar because of that reason. And so what is happening there in the beginning is different kalpas of stories are being told. So in that one kalpa, Bhagavan Shiva and Sati went to Agastya Muni to learn, to hear Ramayana. एक बार त्रेता जुग माही शंभु गए कुंभज ऋषि पाही. एक बार means like in one yuga. And yoga, I hope you understand. Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yuga and Kal Yuga. And then it goes into Pralaya and then again starts back. So, and again the same stories come, same, all of us come also, come and go. So he's telling in different yugas. Don't get So the stories need not necessarily be connected with each other and all. That just happened in that yuga. Then later on, so that happened at the time when Bhagwan Ram and Sita ji were in the forest, and that happened at that time. Bhagwan Shiva and Sati went to Kumbhaja Rishi to listen Ramayana. So when that happened, then so we saw that whole story. Sati did not pay attention, this, that, ityadi. And then she, by yoga agni, she immolated herself and all that. And was reborn as Parvati. All right. Now, today, we have to see, when we left it last night, in Williamsville, Vishwamitra, the great Mahamuni Jnani Vishwamitra, came there and asked for Bhagwan Rama Lakshmana to come and protect his Yajna. And we saw where he removed that Subahu and Tadaka, and with one arrow he threw that Marich away by the ocean. And when we asked the question why he did not kill Marich, we said, because there is use for Marich later on. Marich is actually, if you go symbolically also, which we did not do last night, Marich is Vishaya. Vishaya, you know? Bhagavan tells in Gita, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Vishaya. Vishaya means object. That's why Sita ji saw the object, golden deer. Marriage becomes Vishaya, objects of desire, objects that we are attracted to in the world. He represents all of that. So, those objects we need. So he does not kill. We need objects. And that's what we have to do? Lessen our needs and develop detachment from them. To two things. I need the object. So I lessen the amount of objects that I need. And then, even the ones that I have now, I develop detachment from them. So the objects are kept in my life. And at one point I give up all objects also. I give up the body also, because body also is an object. I give up everything. So that is the point when he kills. That is the point when he kills Marich. There's one symbolic meaning of this Marich and all. Kept. Some things we keep. Like Hanumanji goes there, he doesn't kill this Mainak Parvat. He doesn't kill that Surasa, but he kills Simhika. Some we keep and some we remove, because they represent different things. Surasa represents greed. Lobh, greed. So, greed is required for the whole running of the whole world. The whole economic system everywhere runs by greed. You know, if it's not there, nothing will run. So he doesn't kill Surasa. Like that, they represent, and they are kept. They represent different things which are required. Now, next morning they got up, and the previous night, what he said, morning when they got up only, Vishwamitra ji, great sage, he told to Bhagwan Ram, Dhanush Jagyasuni Raghukula Natha Harashichale Muni Barake Satha. The Muni told him there is a Dhanush Jagya. When I was growing up in the village, everybody used to say Jagya. What is there? There's a Yajna over there. And then that got shortened later on to Jug. Later, but I remember him saying Yajna. Not only that, my neighbor, that lady, her name was Yajna. They give that name to somebody also. Yajna. So, Yajna is Yajna, becomes Yajna. Easy to say now. And then became Jug. So now, when I heard this Yajna later on, I thought, what they used to say? Yajna, Yajna. Wrong word? But not wrong word, is right word. That is called Avadhi. One more thing. Let me just tell you quickly before we go on. Everybody says that this Ramayana, Ramcharitamanas, is written in Avadhi. What is the language? Avadhi. But I tell you, inside this Ramcharitamanas, there are many languages mixed up. Avadhi is the main language, but Tulsidas ji has called the words from many languages. Right here also, there are words from Farsi. There are words from Urdu. There are words from so many things. So it's not just pure Avadhi. Mainly it is Avadhi. Sometimes I'll point out some of these words also. Okay, now just before 210. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Ashram ek dikh mag mahi, khag mrig jeev jantu tah nahi.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
पूछा मुनि शिला प्रभु देखी, सकल कथा मुनि कहा विशेषी.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
गौतम नारी श्राप बसा, उपल दे दरि धीर. चरण कमल रज चाहते, कृपा करहु रघुबीर सिया.
वर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम सीतारामा. सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम सीतारामा. सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम सीतारामा.
सियावर रामचंद्र की जय. Ashram ek dekhi. On the way now, going to Dhanush Yajna. Where? Janakpur. On the way, Ashram ek dekhi. Kisne? Bhagwan Shri Ram. Who? Bhagwan Shri Ram saw a ashram, an ashram. Magamahi on the way. Then, Khagamriga Jeev Jantu Tahan Nahi. No living beings were there. No khaga, mriga, animal, bird, animal, jeeva, jantu. Nothing. That place was like a desert. Ashram, eh? Yet still he calls it an ashram. Valmiki ji describes that even though there were no living things, there was a resplendence and a light about that place. This is Valmiki Ramayana. That's still he calls it ashram. Because if a place like that, nothing, lifeless, you call it ashram. Ashram Deek. But there was a light beaming out from there. You hear this all the time. You go somewhere and you come back and you say, Swamiji, the vibes in that place was real nice. What are you talking about that time? What vibes? You feel some vibes, na? And you come back and say, it was a simple place, but the vibes were nice. Pucha munihi, sila prabhu dekhi, Bhagwan saw a stone. Then, pucha munihi, he asked the muni. Then, sakala katha muni, katha biseshi, Then the Muni told the whole story. He asked Vishwamitra Ji Maharaj, he told the whole story. What whole story at all? Nothing he told here. So the whole story now I have to tell you. Doc, you have to pay careful attention here again because see. So listen to this story now, because there, Ahalya, whose name is beauty, there's no woman in her time who was as beautiful as Ahalya. So, Ahalya got a sharp from her husband Gautama, and she had turned into a stone. So this is the reason why he's seeing a stone there. And what happened? Gautama Rishi got up in the morning and he got up and was engaged in his regular morning ablutions. Before that, both of them had done years of tapas together. That's what Valmiki ji described Ahalya's tej, resplendence, and Ahalya's light was still there in that ashram because of all the tapas she had done. But anyway, Indra was covetous of this wife, Ahalya, of Gautam Rishi, because she was the most beautiful woman at the time. So when the Rishi started his morning ablutions, he went down to the river, lake to take a bath. That time, Indra came in there in the guise of Gautama Rishi, the husband. And he had a relationship with his Ahalya. Then, when he was leaving, Gautam Rishi was returning and saw him. Well, he gave him a terrible sharp and then gave this sharp to Ahalya. She turned into a stone. And then he blessed also that Bhagwan Ram will come and he will. So, we'll see now Bhagwan Ram coming. So the idea is, again, the fault of not thinking. There is the derelict of duty to think. See, Gautam Rishi got up for 1,000 years. In those time, they used to live a long time. 1,000 years, and he goes to do this morning ablution, and that is done in a particular way. The Rishi has a schedule every morning. But she also did not think. Or inquire or anything. So, this is from the Ramcharitmanas standpoint. In many of the other places, Purana, scriptures, where the story comes, she knew. So that makes it even worse. But there are consequences for actions. But I told you, see, when something wrong is done, that is called a fall. But if the person is a devotee, if the person is a bhakta, the person is dharmic, that kind of thing, they fall on the right side. Please pay attention to that. I gave so many examples also. So there's a fall for Ahalya, but she fell on the right side. She was there. Now who comes to give mukti? Gautama Nari Shrapa Basa Upala Deha Dharidhir Charana Kamal Raja Chahati Kripa Karahu Raghuvir. The sage told Prabhu, have kripa on her, and you touch her with your feet. Well, foot. Can't lift both his feet one time to touch, One fellow gone to buy a parrot, So he asked the pet store owner, how much for this parrot? He said the parrot is $5,000. What? 5,000? Yes, US. So much for a parrot? What's so special about this parrot? He said, you see, if you pull the right leg of that parrot will chant any, you just have to pull the right leg, he'll start chanting whole Bhagavad Gita. If you pull the left leg, he'll chant the whole Ramayana. What? The parrot chant the whole Ramayana, Gita? Yeah. Then the customer, so what about if you pull the two leg? The parrot said, don't be stupid, I go fall long. So, the sage told to Bhagwan Ram, she wants, you should touch her with your foot, you know. And Bhagwan Ram did, and then Ahalya there manifested from that stone. And this, in the Doha, Raghubir word comes. This is the first time Raghubir word is being given for Bhagwan Ram. Raghubir. Charana Kamala Raja, Chahati Kripa Karahu Raghuvir. Vasishta Muni gave the name Ram. And Vishwamitra gave the name Raghuvir. He calls him. Raghunath he had told to Dashirath Maharaj before, but Raghuvir is coming first. Veer means Raghuvir means one who has all the virta. Virta means bravery and daring in all the respective fields. So there's a different type of veer. One is called a vidya veer. Daring and brave in knowledge, he'll memorize everything. Daring to collect knowledge. Vidya veer. Ranaveer, daring on the battlefield. Hero, heroic in all of these fields. Veer is just translated in English as heroic. Hero. Danaveer. Danaveer means like Karna. Karna was Danaveer. Karna was so detached from anything. Anything he has, and just take it. In a flash. Dan he'll give like that. Then Tyagaveer. Tyagaveer means one who can drop anything anytime, fast. One Dan, they are connected. Tyag and Dan. Like that. So, Hanumanji is also called Mahavir, who has all of these virta. Bhagwan Ram, Raghuvir. Now, this our Ahalya, she chants now to Bhagwan Ram. Or Tulsidas, she gets into Chanda. Let us all join in chanting, all of you have. Par sat pad pavan sokan san pragat पर सत पद पावन सोकन सावन देखत रघुनायक जन सुखदायक मुख होई कर जोरी रही अति प्रेम अधीरा वही बचन कही अतिशय बरवानी चरण ही लागी जुगल नयन जलधार बही धीरज मन कीना प्रभु का उचीना रघुपति कृपा भगति पाई अति निर्मल स्तुति ठानी ज्ञान गम्य जय रघुराई मैं नारी पावन प्रभु जग पावन रावण रिपु मोचन पाई शरणई आई। मुनि श्राप जो दीना अति भल कीना, परम अनुग्रह में माना। देखे उधर हरि भव मोचन, इह लाभ संकर नति प्रभु मोरी, नति भोरी नाथ माधव पर। पद कमल परागा रस अनुरागा, मम मन मधुप करे पाना। जय पद सुर सरिता प्रगत भई शिव शीस धरी। सोई पद पंकज जहि पूजत अज मम सिर धरे। कृपाल हरि एई भांति सिधारी, गौतम नारी बार बार हरि चरण परी। जो अति मन भावा सोबरु पावा, गए पति लोक अंज भरी। अस प्रभु दीन बंधु हरि, कारण रहित दयाल। तुलसीदास सतते भुज, चारि कपट जंजाल। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। Very nice tutti. We'll spend time seeing it. We shouldn't leave it. Parasatapada Pavan Sokana Savan. That feet of Bhagwan Ram touch that, Ahalya. And which feet? Pada Pavan. Pavan Pada. That feet which brings purity, or the feet which cleanses. Then Sokana Savan, which removes all sok. And this is what what she had done was some pap. So the feet removed all of the pap. And then, being a stone, nobody wants to be a stone, Stone means what? Nobody except Bhagwan Ram notices a stone. Who pays attention? Lifeless. So that feet brought joy to Ahalya. Pragata bhai tapapunja sahi. Pragata bhai means she manifested there. Who? Tapapunja sahi. That's why I was telling you just now, she had done long tapas. And I told you from Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan tells in Bhagavad Gita, there, that even some great person also falls. So you don't have to worry. The scriptures are full of that. Such a great tapasvi. Sahi word is Farsi, I was telling you about. Sachmuch, really like that. She turned back into her normal body. Dekhata Raghunayaka Jana Sukhadayaka Sanmukha Hoi Kara Jori Rahi. And seen Bhagwan Ram in front of her now. Dekhata Raghunayak. Then Jana Sukhadayak, the one who gives joy to all the devotees. Sanmukha Hoi, right in front of her. Kara Jori Rahi. She put her hands together. Ati Prema Thira. With great love now. Ati supreme love in her heart. Pulaka Sarira. And her hair standing on end. Mukhanai Avai Bachana Kahi. Words could not come from her lips. Ati Saya Bada Bhagi Charanani Laghi. counting herself to be so fortunate, she dropped on the feet of Bhagwan Ram. Jugala Nayana Jaladhara Bahi, with two eyes streaming with tears. Then Dhiraja Manakinha, and then she collected her mind together. And Prabhu Kahu Chinha, Raghupati Kripa Bhagati Pai, realizing that she got devotion from Bhagwan Ram. It means Bhagwan Ram blessed her with devotion. She had never had this type of devotion before. Just by the touch. Ati nirmala bani astuti thani. And with all this pure words, she did stuti for Bhagwan Ram. This stuti starts from there. See, ati nirmala bani astuti thani. Now, what is this stuti starts with first word? Stuti means praise. Throughout the scriptures, throughout this Ramayana, praises are done to some form of Bhagwan. Like all the gods, all the devatas, they went to Bhagwan Vishnu and they did, and we saw that. They did praises there, stuti. Then, Jnana Gamya Jaya Raghurai. How she starts is stuti. First word, Jnana Gamya. Bhagwan is. Jnana Gamya means Bhagwan is to be known by knowledge. It is Ahalya stuti. Means that's why we keep telling knowledge is so important. We have to go on making ourselves knowledgeable. Know all the scripture. Know the means to mukti and all such things. Jnana Gamya. Hey Jnana Gamya. Jaya Raghurai. Glory to you, Raghurai. Main Nariya Pavan. Prabhu Jaga Pavan. I am an impure woman and you are the purifier of the whole world, she tells. Ahilya is telling her, anybody who go before Bhagwan thinking they are extremely pure, well, that itself is an impurity. Prabhu, I come before you extremely pure. Oh, you took a bath. That is purity. Shuchi, Bhagwan tells in Gita, is not purity. Taking a bath, what? And one fellow, you take 2 baths. He tells Bhagwan, I take 2 baths. And all the other people say, what 2 baths? You didn't take 2 baths? We were with you all day now. One time you bathed. He said, yeah, but one time I bathed. But when I went to bathe, I rub soap and I wash it and I rub soap again. Like 2 baths, he counted that. How people have all kind of scheme and gimmick and this and that. He rubs soap 2 times, so he called 2 baths. When brahmacharis stay in ashram, we have a rule for them. They have to take bath 2 times. I hope no brahmacharya did this, no. Anyway, so, main Arya Pavan. Everybody should feel. Impurity means impurities of pap. I have done so many wrong things. Like that. Prabhu Jaga Pavan, and Prabhu is the one who purifies the whole world. And that's why she starts with Jnana Gamya, and known by knowledge. He is knowledge, the very embodiment of knowledge. Bhagavan. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. Nothing purifies like knowledge. She got bhakti, jnana, everything just by the touch of Bhagavan. And see how interesting the next word. What is that? Prabhu Jaga Pavan, Ravana Ripu Jana Sukhadai. Ravana Ripu, the enemy of Ravana, has not come in the story yet. Ravan name has not, name has come because of all the different, but means to say, Ravan has not done anything in this Ramayana yet, but he is Ravana Ripu, the enemy of Ravan. Means to say what the Ramayana is eternal, and all of these being come over and over from life to life. And that's we've seen the same thing in earlier dohas where Bhagwan Shiva Parvati getting married. They have not yet gotten married and they did puja to Ganesh. And Ganesh is their son, who will come later on. Because all of the forms are eternal. Ravana, Ripu, Jana Sukhadai, who gives joy to all the devotees. Jana in this Ramayana means devotees. Jana word. Jana Sukhadai. Gives joy to all. Rajiva Lochan, whose eyes are like lotus. Means I see only divinity, beauty, immaculate beauty, like that. Bhavabhaya mochan, the one who removes us from this ocean of samsara. Pahi pahi saranai, saranahi ai. You protect me, save me, Prabhu. Means you give me that mukti. Munishrapa jo dinha, now she herself telling. She herself is telling. And this is what I was telling about before. You will see. Whenever something, such bad thing happen, one gets a shrap also. That has always a good outcome, because the jiva, in leaps and bounds, the jiva there evolves with any such thing. Please pay attention to this one fact in life and in nature. All evolution takes place only by dukkha, not by sukha. Sukha is only the enjoyment of punya karma. In dukkha, the jiva makes effort like anything to rid himself of the dukkha. Like when there is a stain on your shirt, you make effort to remove that stain. When you are clean, you make any effort? No effort. But when there is a stain, and you put some detergent there, and you go on rubbing, in the end, the stain remains, but your hand becomes really clean and nice. So in the same way, the jiva, when there's some dukkha in his life, he makes all sorts of effort to remove this dukkha, and in making those efforts, he evolves. That is the idea. He becomes purer and purer. So now she said, Munishrapa jo dinha, the shrap which the Muni gave me. Munishrapa jo dinha. And see how she does not say, see where she has reached now. She does not say, the shrap which my husband gave me. The shrap which the Muni gave me. In other words, he is really performing the role of a Muni. Means he is making me evolve. Don't like today I got mukti. Muni shrapa jo dinha ati bhalakinha. He did well. He did well by giving me rasha. Parama anugraha mana. I count it as a great blessing. He blessed me by giving me this shrap. Dekheu bhari lochan hari bhava mochan. With that shrap, my eyes can today fill itself or themselves with darshan of Hari, who removes people from this sansar. Ihai labh sankar jana, which Bhagwan Shankar considers to be the greatest labh, greatest achievement. And today I got, Bhagwan Shankar considers to get darshan of Bhagwan Ram. It's the greatest achievement. That's why he went from Kumbhaja Rishi, he went to get darshan of Ram and did prostration. That's why Sati, and that is when Sati could not understand what he was doing. He went to get darshan only. Binati Prabhu Mori, me mati bhori, nath na magau bara ana. Please, I am a dull-witted person. You just grant me this one boon, I don't want any other thing. What? Pada kamala paraga rasa anuraga mama mana madhupa karai pana. May my mind always remain like a bee. Madhupa. Madhupa means bee. May my mind always remain like a bee, drinking of the rust of the dust of your lotus feet. May my mind be like that. Jai pada surasarita parama punita. Those feet from which emanate, or that foot from which emanates Ganga. All stories, I'm presuming you all know all of these stories. Jai pada surasarita parama punita. Those feet which are most purifying and pure, from which emanate the Ganga, which is so pure. Bhai Siva Sis Dhari, which is the Ganga which is born on the head of Lord Shiva. Soipada, those feet, or that foot, Pankaja Jehi Pujata Asa Aja, those feet which that foot which is worshipped by Brahma Ji himself, Aja, Mama Siradhare Kripal Hari. That foot touched my head today. So how the Muni shrap is a shrap? The shrap turns out to be a blessing. Bhanu's Pratap's shrap turns out to be a blessing. Bhagavan himself came to give him mukti. Then, ehi bhati siddhari Gautama Nari. Ehi bhati siddhari. The stuti ends there. Ehi bhati siddhari Gautama Nari bar bar hari charana pari jo ati mana bhava sobaru pava gaipati lok ananda bhari. She went to the same state to which her Gautam Rishi had also gone. Again and again doing pranams to the feet of Bhagwan Ram. Tulsidas Ji's this doha is very famous. Let us sing again. As Prabhu Deen Banju Hari Karan Rahit Dayalo Ram Karan Rahit Dayal Tulsi Das Sat Dev Chari Kapat Janjal Siya Ram Chandra Ki Jai Sharanam Pavan Sut Hanuman Ki Jai
उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय
सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरण. Asa Prabhu Deen Bandhu Hari. Such a Lord, Tulsidas is, he expresses disbelief, or he expresses surprise, or such thing. What? Asa Prabhu Deen Bandhu Hari Karan Rahit Dayal. That Lord whose compassion is without any cause. See, Bhagwan has not seen Ahalya before. Only when he asked, what is this stone? The Rishi told the story of Ahalya. And the Rishi only told you should touch this stone with your foot. Without reason, this is a very famous phrase in this Ramayana. Karan Rahita Dayal. He is Dayalu. He is merciful without reason. Bhagwan, like for example, the sun shines without reason. You can't say the sun shines because he loves us. The sun shines because he wants to burn us. The sun shines because if he thinks, if I don't shine, what will happen to all of these earth and all these people? No such thing. The sun is shining because the sun is shining. Its nature is to shine. That is the idea. If you have to understand the compassion, the mercy of Bhagwan, you have to think like this. His nature is to shine, the sun, its nature. It is not that the Bhagwan is like a shopkeeper. If you give me 5 cubits of worship, I will give you 5 cubits of blessings. That is like it is like a shopkeeper. You give 5 cents, you get 5 cents sugar. 5 cents, you get 5 cents salt. One fellow Morai, give him $5 in this hand and $5 in this hand. Go and buy $5 sugar and $5 salt. He gone by the shop and come back with nothing. She said, what happened? What happened to the sugar and salt? He said, well, when I went there, I forget which one is for sugar and which one is for salt. He come back home. Anyway, so Bhagwan is not like that. We give this much. You know why? Why prayer and blessings cannot be like that? Suppose I pray for 2 hours and you pray for 2 hours. And Bhagwan will have to say now, both of them pray for 2 hours. So I have to bless both of them equally. Is that ever possible? Never possible. Never ever possible. How? Because in the 2 hours, how many times my mind strayed and how many times your mind strayed, who can measure? Second thing, my mind strayed, but it went to something good. And your mind strayed and went to something no good. Who can know? Then, forget about mind straight and all. Mind still a little bit tangible. What about bhav? Bhav means how intense were my feelings when I was praying, and how intense were your feelings when you were praying. Bhagwan, is there any meter in the world to measure intensity of feelings? Where's the meter? Where's the... So there is no such thing as this much prayer, these many mantras, and then Bhagavan will give me this much blessing. And people, this is such a gross thing, even with money. I gave more money, so I'll get more blessing. No such thing. Huh? That will not happen. See, I gave more money, and I have that abhiman. Oh, I gave. Nobody could give like me. And the fella gave 1 cent and says in his mind, Are, tera tujhko arpan. This is yours only, I am not giving. This is yours, your cent. It is abhiman for me to think I am giving money. That is a better bhav than the person who gives 10 cents and then think, oh, I am great dani. No. So those things you cannot measure. There is no such thing. Very, very gross measurements. Human beings, very superficial thinking. So here, that is why this Ramayana says Bhagavan is akaran kripa. His kripa is like this. Karana rahita dayal. Rahit means without. With no cause, no reason. His grace is there all the time. Why? His nature is grace. It is his nature to be beaming down grace and mercy, compassion, kripa, daya to the whole universe. And then how do I get his kripa then? Well, I get his kripa. How do you get sunlight? Are open your window. Sahi ki nahi? You have your window closed and you are complaining, I'm not getting any sunlight. This room is so dark. So how we get the kripa of Bhagavan? Open the window. No. This is what? The intensity of my prayer, the earnestness of my prayer, and the correct bhav accompanying the prayer, and all of that, that will open my mind to the compassion and kripa of Bhagavan. It's not that Bhagavan will open anything. That is why, otherwise you will have no karma to do. Who has to, if you have to get the sunlight, you have to pull the latch and push out the window, na? Or draw the curtains or something. Not open the curtains. Something you have to do. The kripa, the compassion of Bhagavan is readily available. I have to access it. That is the idea. No, Bhagavan will come knocking on your door. Hey, open. Then you will have nothing to do. We have to do some karma. The Tulsidaji says, such a Bhagavan who beams his compassion with no reason. I will leave that Bhagavan and I will go and run after this world. Tulsidas is such a tehi bhaju, chari kapat. Oh, Tulsidas is speaking to his own mind. Oh, foolish Tulsidas, speaking to his own mind. Oh, foolish Tulsidas, you worship this Lord only and forget all his janjal. Janjal means this world with all its crazy things. Only worldly things that draw us further and further into bondage. Now, where all this is now, Ahalya Stuti, where they were going? Dhanush Jagya. See, that Stuti finishes there, and in 2 chaupai they reach Janakpur already. Just 2 chaupais. Harshita chale muni brind sahai begi videha nagar niya raya. They reached Janakpur. So in between all, what happened and all? Nothing. Now the following verses and all tell about the beauty of Janakpur. The beauty of that city, Janakpur. And Tulsidaji's comment, 2:1-3, see that. Dhaval dham manipurat pata Dhaval dham manipurat patha Sughatit nana bhati ram Sughatit nana bhati Siya nivas sundar sadana शोभा किमी कही जाति सिया हर रामचंद्र की
जय शरणम पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम.
He describes the beauty of this Janakpur, and then, just like how he had done, imagine when Parvati ji took birth in Himavan's kingdom, how everything became beautiful. So also, Jagat Janani, these are all forms of same Parashakti. Sita ji, Parvati ji, all forms of same Parashakti. That Parashakti is the wealth of the whole universe, takes birth somewhere. How beauty comes there. Dhavaladham mani purata pata sughatita nana bhati. How gems emerged everywhere to beautify the Siya nivasa sundara sadana. And Sita ji lived in such a beautiful palace that Sobha kimi kahi jati. Who could ever describe? The description, in other words, that is a way to describe. What is the way to describe? To tell that it is indescribably beautiful. That is the idea. Bhalehina takahi kripaniketa utare taha munibrinda sameta. They all took up now residence on Sarayu, the river bank. That's where rishis usually stay and all. But then, just a few lines down. Vishwamitra Mahamuni aaye.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Samachar Mithilapati paaye.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
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 Jaya Raghu Rama.
Jaya Raghu Rama.
Jaya Sita Rama.
Jaya Sita
Syavara Ramachandra ki jai. Vishwamitra Mahamuni. Remember he was described there? Mahamuni Gyani. And we saw the name went down. But here he's described again and the name doesn't go down. Right? Because now he didn't come to ask for something, he come to give something. I came to give Bhagwan Ram to, like that. Mahamuni aaye, samachar mithilapati paaye. News reached to Janakji Maharaj that the great Rishi is now there camping on the outskirts of his city. in 214, Sangha Sachiva Suchi, Bhuri Bhata, Bhusura, Bara Gura Gyati, Chale Milana Muninayaka hi, Mudita Rao ehi bhati. With great joy, Janakji Maharaj collected all the important people from his kingdom. All the Pandits and his guru and everybody, and they all went there to meet the great Rishi Vishwamitra as he camped on the outskirts of the city there. Then, when he reached Bhagwan Ram and Lakshmana, they were not there. They were walking about on Sarayu Tat, on the banks of Sarayu. They were walking. The Muni came into the tent the king came into the tent of Vishwamitraji and was talking with him. And then, Tei Avasara, just a couple lines down, Tei Avasara aaye do bhai. When the king was already there, Rama, Lakshmana, do bhai, they entered that tent. Gaye rahe dekhana pulavai, Syama gaur sundara, Syama gaur mridu, bayas kishora, lochana sukhada visvachita chora. Uthe sakala jaba Raghupati aaye Vishwamitra nikata baithaye. Most amazing thing. These are two young boys, and all Muni, Rishi, all king, everybody sitting there. When Bhagwan Ram walked into that, he doesn't say about Lakshmana. Tulsidaji doesn't write about Lakshmana. He says, Uthe sakala jaba Raghupati aaye. He entered that tent, everybody stood up. When Bhagwan Ram entered. Because an early description before is given. Such ocean of beauty nobody had seen before. Vishwamitra nikata baithaye, Vishwamitraji put them to sit next to him. Murati madhur manohar dekhi bhayav videhu videhu viseshi. Tulsidaji's poetry. Videhu is Janakji Maharaj, the king. And when he saw Bhagwan Ram, when he saw this ocean of beauty, he became Videhu. His name is Videhu. When he saw Bhagwan Ram, he became Videhu. The double meaning of the means he became unconscious of his body. So Bhayahu, Videhu, Viseshi. He lost consciousness of his body. Tulsidas describes him. प्रेम मगन मनु जानि नृप करि विवेक धरि धीरो राम करि विवेक धरि धीर बोले मुनि पद नाई सिरु गद गद गिरा गभीर सिया पर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम पवन सुत हनुमान की जय
उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम.
Drowned in love so much, this Janakji Maharaj became just only to see Ram, only seeing. He lost consciousness of his body also, but he thought this is not good. I am the king, So Tulsidas was Kari Vivek Dhari Dheer. He thought I should be a bit more responsible. Kari Vivek Dhari Dheer, and he firmed up, okay, because he lost confidence. A person loses consciousness of their body, anything, they'll fall this side, fall that side. Only to see Ram, Bolevu, Muni, Padanai Siru, and he fell on the feet of the Muni with his voice choked. Still he hadn't collected himself properly. See the next line. Kahu nath sundar do balak
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
मुनिकुल तिलक केन्द्र कुल पालक
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
ब्रह्म जो निगम नीति कई गावा
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
उभय वेश धरी की सोई आवा
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
श्री राम जय जय राम
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
जय रघुराम
Jaya Raghuram
Falling on the feet of Vishwamitra, the king asked, now, Kaho Nath, hey Prabhu, O Rishi, tell me, Sundar do balak, Munikula tilaka, ki nripakula palak. Are they sons of munis, rishis? Or are they sons of some great king? Who are they? Brahma jo nigama neti kahi gawa. Are they Brahma, the absolute reality itself that the scriptures speak about, that is inconceivable? Is that Brahma itself taken these two forms? How are these suggestions and all? When a knowledgeable person like Janakji Maharaj, these suggestions, like Hanumanji, also we'll see later on in Kishkinda Kand when he meets Bhagwan Ram. Nar Narayana, when we see greatness, we don't recognize, and we also. Were you from that enterprise? We don't recognize the greatness. Ubhayaveshatari. Sahaja nirag viraga rupa manam mora. Listen to the effect Bhagwan's darshan had on Janakji Maharaj. My mind is sahaja viraga rupa manam mora. His mind is naturally detached from everything in this world. Janakji Maharaj is such a great, great, great soul. Detached from everything in this world. He is telling, Thakita ho tajimi chanda chakora. But when this Rama walked in, my bird became like that chakor bird, my mind became like that bird that cannot leave the moon. Tate Prabhu, Puchavu. Therefore I am asking, who are these two? Inai bilokat ati anuraga, barvas brahma sukhahi manatyaga. My mind gives up everything and only I want to look at them, and I'm experiencing such joy just by looking at them. Vishwamitra, and Janakji Maharaj goes on and on. Lakhana Hridaya, he goes on and on telling about them. Then the Muni tells, Ram Lakhana do bandhubara rupa sil baladham makhara keu sabasakhi juga jite asura sangram. This is Ram and Lakshmana. They came to protect my Yajna. Kaha Muni bihasi kaheu nripanika bachana tumhara na hoi anika. E priya sabahi jahan lagi prani sanas musukahi Ram suni bani ragukula mani dasarata ke jaye. Like this, the king introduces them at length. This is Ragukula mani Dasharat ke jaye. Mama, and see, they are the jewels of Dasharat ji Maharaj. Rama Lakshmana do Bandhu Bara, two great brothers, like that. He introduces the two of them. Then, now all the talk happened, introduction, this, that, all the other things. King went away to his palace after making arrangements for them to stay in the palace and all the different things there. Then Lakshmana now, he had a desire. Lakshmana's desire is after 127, 117. What is that? Lakhana Hridaya Lalasa. all the different presentations have something for all of us. Lakshman's desire. Lakhan hridaya lalsa viseshi.
Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Jai Janakpur aiya dekhi.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Prabhu bhaya bahuri moni sakuchai.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Pragat n kahai manahi musukahi.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Ram anuj man ki gati jani.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Bhagat bachalta Bhagat bachalta hi hulsani.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Lakhana Hridaya Lalasa Biseshi. Lakshman had one desire. What is that? Jai Janakpur Aya Dekhi. He wanted to go and see this Janakpur. He wanted to do some sightseeing. Sightseeing, you know, na? Prabhu, now see, that, why I chanted it is because of the next line. Prabhu Bhaya Bahuri, he was afraid to tell Bhagwan Ram. This is a brother who is a few minutes younger. Few minutes younger. He's afraid to tell Bhagwan Ram. Then Munihi Sakuchai, and also very hesitant to tell the Muni, Vishwamitra ji. Therefore, what? Pragata Nakahai, Manahi Musukahi. He did not tell to Rama and did not tell to the Muni also. But the idea is, and actually, you see, today's techniques which are taught about bringing up children and all the different type of things, actually these things are not taught. What is the word Tulsidachi uses? Prabhu Bhaya Bahuri. Actually, there is a reason why Bhagwan has fear in the universe. Fear has a purpose. Everything which Bhagwan has manifested has a purpose. Bhaya is the word there, fear. So, we, in teaching children, you have no fear of nobody. You are not afraid of teacher, you're not afraid of parents, you're not afraid of the police, you're not afraid of... Have you seen that? Yes. Just recently, 1 year ago, they walked into the Congress. Right? No fear of anybody, no law enforcement, nothing. This week, whole is still going on. Ottawa, Canada, same thing. So the world becoming more, where, but that's where you teach for the last 100 years. What do people who do now? You have no fear of anybody. No fear of any authority or nothing. So what happened? You groomed your people to turn on you only. The thing has its proper use in its proper place. When we talk about abhayam, sattva, samshuddhi and all that kind of thing, abhayam means not, the fear we are talking about is a respect for authority and a respect for so many other things. That is associated with a shuddha bhaya, a pure type of fear. Eventually that has to be given up, all fear. That is for advanced sadhaka. Lakshmana actually did not say a word of fear of Bhagwan Ram. Not a Tulsidaji said, Pragata na kahai. He did not reveal this desire. And of course the Muni also. Bhagwan Ram in the next line, Ram anuja manaki gati jani. Ram knew what was in his mind. And Rama went and told the Muni, "Oh Muni, this Lakshmana want to see Janakpur." The Muni laughed. Yeah, carry him. Take him. Then, Suni Muni Bachana, when Bhagwan Ram asked, the Muni also was so, how Bhagwan asked so sweet, the Muni also was so moved. Like that, they went, and all the people of Ayodhya now came out to see these two amazing beings. All the people of Janakpur came out to see these two amazing beings everywhere, and they were talking. And they go and call all the others. They tell him to come from the lagoon. Come see. Tell that one, tell the farmers and everybody who planting, and they're going to call everybody. And some of them chit-chatting, who is this? Who are these two? News going around. Well, all possibilities were told. And in 220, Bhayakishora Sushama Sadana Syama Gaura Sukhatham Anga Para Bharyahi Koti Satakam. He description of Tulsidashi of the two of them. They were like Koti Satakam, 100 million, 100 by 10 million Kamdev. That much beauty. Anga, every limb. All this is what the people of Janakpur saw. Now 220, that is over. Now from tomorrow we will see. Thereafter, now they went to Dhanush Yajna, you know. So how many verses gone and no Dhanush Yajna? But we have to stick to our verses also. No? I can't jump so fast. Toha chanting today by Vishala Sivdat and Tara Ramkumar. And did you sing Choti Choti Gaya with you now? Choti Choti Gaya? No? New tune, she said, today. All right. Thanks to Tara and Vishala for coming in. Vishala and Tara for coming and singing Ramayana. Pandit Lal and family will be sponsoring or have sponsored the prasad for tonight. Shri Bharat Dharma Maha Mandir, St. Mary's Muruga, tomorrow. Bharat Dharma. Oh yes, tomorrow is Saturday. Sundarkand at 4 in the Mandir. Right there where the satsang is taking place. Okay. Saturday Balvihar. From the time is from 9 to 11. Divided into 4 segments of mantra chanting stories, Sanskrit and bhajans. Okay. All those who are listening, you please sign your children up. It is to be done now online because of the situation we have in the world. Jalpan extravaganza on Sunday 6th March, 12 noon to 4 p.m. Jalpan means all things to eat. Various things to eat on the 6th of March, 12 to 4. Right here, the ashram. Okay. There is a list at the back for those who want to give all the ingredients. You can give a 5 pound of flour, 10 pound of flour or something, 100 pound of flour, whatever, some chana. Anything you want to give, there's a list at the back, ingredients list for donation. Okay. I also want to say thank you to all the people who gave for the landfill at the back. We reached our target very comfortably by the generous donation of all of you. Thank you so much. Okay. The contractor was more happy than me. Who is receiving prasad? Oh. today prasad to Pandit Lal and family. Who is coming to receive? I did not see Pandit Lal. Is here? Mrs. Lal is here. Okay. Please come. We have a little prasad for you and your family. This is whole Ramayana on a flash drive. So you can play in your car. And you can share with the rest of the family also. आरती के लिए सब खड़े हो जाइए। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की। गावत ब्रह्मादिक मुनि नारद वाल्मीक विज्ञान विशारद। सुख सनकादि शेष अरु सारद। वरनि पवन सुत कीरति नीति।
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की।
गावत वेद पुराण अष्टदश छो शास्त्र सब ग्रंथन को रस। मुनि जन धन संतन को सर्वस। सार अंश सम्मत सब ही की।
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की।
गावत संतत शंभु भवानी। अरुघट संभव मुनि विज्ञानी। व्यास आदि कवि वर जप खानी। भाग भुषुंडि गरुड़ के ही।
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की।
कलिमल हरनि विषय रस फीकी। सुभग सिंगार मुक्ति जुपती की। दलन रोग भव मूरिय मीगी। तात मात सब विधि तुलसी की।
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की।
श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय राम। मंगलम भगवान विष्णु मंगलम गरुड़ध्वजः मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्षं मंगलायतनो हरिः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव। त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव। त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव। त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते। पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। बोलो सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। नमः पार्वती पतये, हर हर महा